Yeah. I had a false start there. I was like, wait, reset. Go. Alright. I don't know why I'm holding the controller. I'm not playing the game. This is pre-recorded. I don't need to do anything here. Yeah, so I got off to a slow start. Like right there, you see I even stopped moving for a second there because my thumb slipped off. Run is spliced. Oh man, I don't have the technical knowledge to do that. If anybody really wants to dig into it, they are free to receive the original recording from me. Analyze it to death. Yeah, so one thing that all of my late night runs have in common is my movement at the beginning is absolutely terrible. I'm not good at it when I'm tired. Like, to be fair, I'm not that great at it when I'm awake. If I'm on like my third run of the day, then I start getting things down, but it takes me a while to warm up sometimes. Oh, I don't have the audio going. There it is. Let me know if that's loud enough. I can turn up the game audio if you need. You think this is fast? No, this isn't your favorite Dark Sun run that we're talking about here. Yeah, so this run is done on a GameCube with a Game Boy player with, obviously, a Kobe cart. Which means there's a little bit more RNG in Sky because we have to use the change staff and win a 1 and 3 in order to proceed, whereas Tara just gets to walk up and do it. Alright, go ahead. I could use the exposure. Yeah, not a whole lot goes on at the beginning of this. It's like 5.5 minutes of just walking around hitting plot triggers. We won't get to the things that start going wrong until about the 6-minute mark. And I don't say that like, you know, self-deprecatingly. Like no, like you'll see as soon as we get into Oasis. It started off rough. Eight days out of 9? Oh god. I don't miss those days. Back when I worked in restaurants, there were times that I would work like 15 straight days, and half of them would be doubles. It's terrible. I hated that job so much. Is the game audio loud enough, or should I turn that up a little bit? I had to improvise it a little bit because the audio pickup on my desktop audio was so incredibly low. Bit low? I'll turn it up a little. I got filters. A little bit more. There, that ought to do. Strange beeping over the music. It's called the dialogue progression. Kiddos just got home. Yeah, so I had a few movement errors here in the beginning Great Log segment, so I'm actually gonna get to the door like a few seconds late. That's not much. I mean, it's incredibly minor over the course of the run, but it's one of those things where it's just like, this is like the really simple part of the run where like everything is basically, you know, fully scripted. Like you should be able to do this part with your eyes closed. So it's like making mistakes here always just feels bad, even if they're not really noticeable to people that don't know the run, like, to a T. But like normally that sound of the key going into the door, I normally have that at like 5:31. It was a couple seconds late, so. Alright, this is where the run starts getting bad. Just watch this encounter rate, which the encounter rate by itself isn't a problem, but the meaningful encounter rate is pretty bad. That first one there, it's actually ideal not to recruit the Cactoball in the first fight, because you get the full experience for the second fight as well, because experience is divided up among living party members. So, killing the Cactoball and it not joining, and then killing another Cactoball guarantees Slash hits level 2 right away, which is really good. Like, my main goal for getting into the first town is level 2 Slash and then something recruited. Ideally 2 things recruited. But we're already, like, right here, I'm just like, great, I'm ready to go to town. But I want to pick up this herb, so I go through the mountains, which have a higher encounter rate. And we get more encounters. Like, you don't normally get encounters this fast in Oasis. Sitting here like, okay, at least give me a spot slime that I can recruit, right? And it just keeps giving me the Cactoballs. Like, oh hey, a spot slime, surely this one will join me, right? Nope. The good news is I'm finding a whole bunch of herbs. The herbs aren't too big of a deal early on, because as long as you find one to get Slash healed up after the early recruiting, you're gonna have some shopping to buy a handful of herbs anyway. I buy 8 during the shopping, and that can go a pretty long way. Most of where the ones that I'm picking up right now are gonna come in are actually gonna be on the Cursed Lamp fight, because the shop herbs will mostly go to the Beavern fight, and then the ones you've picked up will be leftovers for Cursed Lamp. Yeah, so here, if you're just trying to get a run done, you save before you come into the well, because you're going to be using your meat to try to recruit a worm, and if you use your meat and the worm doesn't join, you can just reset and try again. Doing PB attempts, I just don't save, and then I reset if the worm doesn't join me. Because, I mean, it's not that far into the run, it's not a big deal. Like, one of the worst things that can happen, though, like, while recruiting a worm, is to have your second monster die. Because there's a story event immediately after this that requires all 3 of your monsters to be alive for it to trigger. So I'm sitting here hoping it's like, okay, let's hope Moniz does not die, he's getting a little low, and then he gets crushed right there. So we get a nice 841 worm. But I now have to go outside and recruit a spot slime. Just in order to progress the story here, I need a third party member that's alive, and I don't have any money to revive, so recruiting a spot slime is what it is. So I'm just like, yeah, this shouldn't take too long, right? There's a spot slime. But it doesn't join. And this is where, like, my initial thoughts of, okay, there's no way in hell I'm keeping this run starting up. Because this goes on for a couple minutes. We're gonna kill a whole bunch of Cactoballs before we see another spot slime. Like, the good thing there is you get this bonus level on Slash, which gives them more damage for Beavern, but that doesn't make up for 2 minutes of running in a circle, not able to progress the game. Meat stays in your pants unless... Well, I'm not only recruiting dudes. There's female monsters. In fact, later, the Dark Eye that we recruit has to be female. Because it's going to be breeding with a male Beavern. That's how we get our Grizzly, which carries the rest of the run, basically. At least offensively. We end the run with an Armorpede, which is just an absolute tank that also learns some really good spells. It's got Explode At and Thordane and Twin Hits, which is by kill. Doubles attack power. Yeah. I'm sitting here, I'm just like, it's almost at 10.5 minutes. I had the worm over 2 minutes ago. And I'm just sitting here spinning my wheels. And it's just like, there's no way in hell this run is gonna work out. I was like, okay, if I get it by 11 minutes, I'll take it. And like right at the cutoff, boom, we get Eris here. And it's level 1, which is actually good. The beginning stats of your monster, it doesn't matter what its level is. The lower level, the better, because it's going to level up faster, and it's going to get more levels to get bonus stats with. The high level ones are basically going to be, you know, really slow to level up, and their stat growth is going to be exactly the same as the low levels. Hey, PM. Thanks for the good luck. Hopefully things go well here. Yeah, so I like to be under 10 minutes doing this segment right here. Like, the entire goal for this run was just, I want to finish a run before I go to bed, because the run that happened on stream ended very unceremoniously on the bridge in Limbo, and I was just like, eh. If you don't do a safety save before that fight, then there is no second attempt at it. You use all of your healing, and you have no money to get more, so it's all or nothing. If you fail that fight, the run is over. You cannot continue it unless you go out and just farm items, which is super slow. So it was just about bedtime, and I was just like, no. No, today does not end on failure. And then this start happened, and I was just like, okay, well, it may not be a PB, but I'm gonna finish a run. That was my only thought going in on this one. And then, after this start, which is super slow, I'm like 2 minutes behind where I want to be here. Oh, no, this is the retime. This is the recording from last night, and I'm just retiming it live with commentary. Yeah, I've avoided watching it all day, because my splits die at 15 minutes and 15 seconds. So I don't even know what time my cursed lamp kill was. All I know is it was bad. Because right now I'm 2+ minutes behind, just because of recruits. So if you missed the beginning, I got the worm at like 8:20. It was a second encounter recruit, but they killed my cactoball during the fight. So I had to go outside and recruit a spot slime. Oh yeah, you can get attached. This is based on the length of the video file, which has padding on the front and end. It's already a world record. The question is how much. And that's what we're gonna find out. Can't get attached. PM already has my estimate. I was so pumped, and I was just like, PM's always awake and drunk right now. I have to talk to PM. Believe it when you see it, we'll stick around for a couple hours. But yeah, so I went out to recruit the spot slime. Here, Slash almost dies. I was like, yeah. Yeah, I went out to recruit the spot slime, and it took me 2 minutes plus of running around in circles before I finally got a spot slime to join so that I could progress the story. So, that fight was a little scary. Don't have a couple hours? Well, you can check the VOD. The VOD of the VOD. We got VODception going on here. Yeah, here I was really hoping that the Mad Candle would join, because since we got a level 1 spot slime super late, it's not going to be really contributing anything to Beavern, so I was like, come on Mad Candle, join me, and no luck. Mad Candle makes this fight so much safer, because it can blaze for like 12 damage. And as you can see, we're not dealing 12 damage with any other character. built up power. Almost one shot. Dark Sun win. I don't know. Have you installed Final Fantasy 13 yet? You haven't on your Steam? Okay, well... Dang it. Touché, sir. Well played. Yeah, I keep occasionally going back and looking at Dark Sun. I still have yet to finish my notes for it, but... It's kind of an in progress, someday it'll happen kind of a thing. I haven't worked on it since New Year's, because I've been just doing nothing but Monsters 2, basically. Yeah, so that was a pretty good Beaver fight. I didn't have to use a whole lot of healing. And the damage was decent, so it went pretty quick. So it's just like, at this point I'm like, okay, you know, things are looking a little bit better. I think I'll see if I can get some good RNG. Maybe the extra damage from grinding the extra experience on Slash is gonna make a difference or something. And like right around here is where I looked at my splits, and it was just sitting at 15-15. And I was just like, oh no. And here, like, I failed to talk to him. Oh wait, no, that was on the earlier one. So the first time we came up to talk to him, or maybe it's on the revisit. I don't know. One of the times talking to the king, like I hit A too early or something, so I walk up to him and I start walking away because when I'm talking to him, I'm mashing down and B, because the D-pad progresses text in this game, and so you can like rotate the D-pad, but if you want to move in a specific direction afterward, or like here, you absolutely do not want to go left because you'll end up in that side area. I'm mashing down and B at the same time, and I started hitting it too early and completely missed talking to him. And then I almost pulled a Hactical here. I'm like, wait a second, I need my water call. And you can see, we're already behind the Cursed Lamp split. So right here, my confidence in this run is sitting right about 2%. It's like, I'm still within my range of potential time saves, but I'm not feeling good. Just you wait, the RNG will happen. The Discord folks know one bit of the RNG that went in my favor. And this, I've never seen this encounter. I've never seen a double spot slime. I was like, well that's interesting, and then it was an ambush, of course. Like, I've seen the, like the tailworm and, crest viper encounter before. But I've never seen two slimes. Alright, so we are starting the Cursed Lamp fight a minute and a half behind my PB. Right on pace. It's exactly where you want to be. And I'm sitting here, I have a ton of healing, because I didn't use too much on Beaver, and so I was like, this is the safest lamp fight you're ever gonna see. Pay no attention to the 1 HP worm. Yeah, so remember, Eris is a spot slime, Venny is our great worm. Giant worm, not great worm. I know my monsters. I've played this game before, I think. Yeah, so right here I'm just like, okay, Slash's damage is okay, not great. But the worm is actually contributing, you know, 10 hits, which is like, okay. That feels good. And then the upper comes out. And then Venny starts hitting for 7. So basically doing 30% less damage after that upper. So Eris dies, which I was okay with, because I want as much experience going on to Venny as possible. We're replacing Slash after this fight, and then Eris is getting replaced during the revisit. So, having the experience from that fight divided 2 ways instead of 3 ways makes the worm a little bit stronger for Pirate. So once we got toward the end there, I just stopped healing the spot slime. Became fully expendable. Oh, I didn't split. Well, I'm so focused on watching it, I forgot to split. I'll have to manually resplit that one later. That's okay. We're about 3 minutes behind. That's the important detail here. It's surprisingly difficult to remember to split when you're not actually playing. Because splitting is part of the muscle memory. God, look at this. We're already coming up on the Oasis out time. We haven't even gotten back into Oasis. Hey, the individual splits don't matter. It's the end time that's the only one that matters. Yeah, I used to just have Oasis out, Pirate out, Ice out, Sky out, and then Limbo, and then End. But I added in a roughly midpoint split to every zone, just so that I can compare first half, second half. You could definitely argue that Beavern would be a better midpoint than First Lamp to do, but since it's 2 separate visits, it's just like, I'll know if, you know, the grind and bosses are slowing me down or speeding me up, or if my revisit needs work. Cowie wouldn't do that. Right there, I saw the preemptive, and I finally reacted to it. I've actually gotten a lot better about noticing the preemptive so you can get the free run. It's so hard, because it goes by so quickly. It's like, you're usually just spamming A to get through the fight as quickly as possible. There we go. 1 encounter there, and it was a first try run. That's basically as good as you can get in there. I'm pretty sure there's no way to get 0 encounters in there. I don't think there's a depletion value you can roll for that. And here I'm slowly doing mental math. 24 minus X is just the hardest thing for me to do in my head for some reason. And here, again, you know, it's like there's our encounter. And this is the first bit of good luck. I'm like, holy crap, that's a friend staff. I'm so excited I tried to use the herb instead of toss it. So, the friend staff is a consumable item that casts twin hits or bi-kill on a character, effectively doubling their attack power. But it has a very, very high chance to break when you use it. More often than not, you get 1 use out of each staff. We actually manipulate one at the beginning of Pirate. But if you can get more than that one, it's wonderful, because you can use it for the early bosses. Later on, we're gonna have twin hits on our armor peed for the rest of the game, and so I'm not used to the friend staff being there, so I muscle memory autopiloted where the warp wing is normally gonna be. All right, so we are 2.5 minutes behind, but we have a friend staff, and here, this was a side effect of doing multiple runs. I got confused by the names because I had these character names on a run recently, and so I was like, okay, this one's the lamp, this one's the worm, and they're actually flipped from the run I had before. So I got everything in the wrong order and I had to reorder twice. So again, more stupid time loss. And I was also just like kinda still amped up about the friend staff, so it's a lot easier to make those mistakes when you're a little bit excited and jittery there. 19 minus 17 equals 66. Got it. I'll write that one down. Something about that doesn't seem accurate, but you seem like a reputable source. There we go, that early crit. Beautiful. Like, the only way that you can, you know, save time on the arena is getting lucky with crits. During these fights, you have no control over your monsters whatsoever, outside of assigning them tactics. And this early in the game, everybody basically just has attack. Our worm, Venny, also has Beast Cut, but it's a longer animation and doesn't really do any more damage against normal enemies. Like, against beasts, it gets a boost, but it's not significant early in the game. So, Kazna and Bino are on charge so that they just attack, because that's their only offensive ability. And then Venny, against Beavern, I moved to a specific command to attack, which in the arena translates to use no skills. So it'll just do regular attacks and not waste time with the beast cuts. This fight, these Mad Ravens have a lot of health, and the AI just loves spreading damage on this fight. Absolutely ridiculous. This fight can be super fast if you get lucky with a couple of crits, or it can just take forever and you just bleed time on it. More often than not, you bleed time on this fight. Bino? You don't get to name Bino. The static monsters that you pick up have default names. So Bino and Squiz are not renamable. So, all things considered, that was a pretty quick arena, and I'm just like, okay, we're making up time here. Gonna hope for the first try on the friend staff manip in Pirate, and then go, go, go. I wasn't too worried about it, because if I didn't get it, I at least had the one that I picked up in Oasis, which is about a 1% chance to find one in Oasis. It's really incredibly lucky. But, it's like, if I don't screw up the manip here, I get 2 friend staffs, which is great. And if one doesn't break, then, you know, you get to use it for multiple fights. So, here we do a save and reset. This resets the RNG for the manip. And then this is just mashing A as fast as you can. And there's... I don't know exactly how many frames it is. I think it's 4 frames or so per outcome. One of them has a friend staff 2 steps south of the shrine here. One has it a couple screens northwest. And here I'm hoping that I got the one by the cave, which coincides with this herb right here. So as soon as I saw this herb, I was just like, yes, we got it. And there's the friend staff. Cheated run. Manips are legal. So now I have 2 friend staffs, which is just the best thing ever at this point. So normally we save this friend staff for CaptDead because the time saved there is bigger than on this fight, but since I have 2, I go ahead and use it, and the first one breaks. So I only got 1 use out of it, which is fine. I still have 1 sitting in my inventory for CaptDead. I forget to sort my items because I'm excited about the friend staff still. So Kazna's on mixed here. That's gonna have him cast upper every turn until he runs out of MP. And really our only interest is keeping Kazna and Bino alive here. At least until the end. If you can have Kazna die right at the end, it's ideal, because then Bino gets all of the experience from this fight. Our worm Venny just has basically no chance to survive this fight. Squiz does so much damage to him that it doesn't really matter. So, even if you get an upper on Venny, which the Cursed Lamp almost never does, you're still gonna usually see the worm get one-shotted. I think upper only boosts its defense by like 5. It's based on your current defense. So, monsters with higher base defense gain more from upper. Monsters with no defense gain nothing from upper. And so here, even though Kazna has enough for 1 more upper, I make a call to switch him to charge early to start contributing damage. And part of that is because I actually don't want him to upper himself 1 more time. If he gets his defense too high, then it's really hard to get him killed off at the very end. So, I actually want him taking a bit of damage from regular attacks. He's gonna take nothing from by attack at this point, because while it does hit twice, each hit is actually smaller than a regular attack. And see, there you go. There's like 50 damage on the worm right there. But it survived for a very long time, so I got a lot of damage out, which actually means that Kazna... Kazna does not die here, because Squiz just died so fast. Because we had twin hits, and the worm was alive for most of the fight. So, get a nice chunk of time saved here. If the cursed lamp dies there, then the extra experience that Vino gets actually bumps him all the way to level 10. And there we go. Here's a gold split on Squiz. Not surprising given the friend staff. And the quick arena. Yeah, so right here I'm like, okay, I can get this run back into PB territory easily. I'm still holding on to a friend staff. We just had a really good Squiz split. We're only a minute and a half behind. I'm just like, alright, let's just keep on going. I think this actually tries to join me. Yeah. So during this segment, we want to recruit an army ant and a mad gopher. We need them to do a couple of story events in Great Log, which is going to result in us getting the ice key for our next area. And one nice thing about the mad gopher, this is actually thanks to Hactical for even thinking of this. Like, what we used to do is we would come in here and actually go to the church in town and revive our worm. But if your worm is already level 10, that's all you need for it to breed. You don't need anything else on it. So, instead of reviving the worm, if it's dead, you can just swap it for the mad gopher when you get the recruit, because you have to get the recruited mad gopher before you go to the next boss anyway. And statistically, it's pretty comparable to an average worm, so it's a nice time save and money save. The revives cost 5 gold plus 5 times the level of your monster, so you're basically gonna go 1 less love water. Like here, I had enough gold that I could have done it. It was a 55 cost, and I still had enough herbs left over that I only had room for 6 love waters there. So I'm still holding on to 60 gold, so I could have afforded to revive the worm there, but no need. But it's also slow because you have to sit through the church revive music and such, and all the dialogue, plus the extra walking, so it costs time. Whereas we're going to be recruiting our... I couldn't find my beef jerky. We're going to be recruiting the mad gopher, you might as well bring it with you. There's always room in your mad gopher. We get our first try army ant. 1 beef jerky gets the army ant and go for the 95% chance to recruit. I've had a few that still did not recruit at 95%, but yeah, whatever. And I always know this 140 gold is here. When you get the overworld layout where the staff is by Squiz's cave, that herb and that 140 gold are also always there. Which is nice, because, this is a little more money going into the next segments. And we get the gopher. So our recruits are done. Send Venny home. And now we've got all 3 monsters alive, which we're going to be doing some dancing here, which again requires everybody to be alive. Which is why it's even worth reviving the worm in the first place. If you have a dead character, you have to actually go either replace them or revive them before you can do this. And in my PB, I lost about a minute to the army ant recruit, because I couldn't find one. I ran around outside the town here for at least another minute before I got an army ant, just waiting for encounters to pop up. It was pretty awful. So I was really happy to get both recruits here pretty quick. And there I popped down because the previous run I went to check for items, and so I was thinking, hey, maybe there's items there. But of course, you know, my current overworld state is manip'd, so I already know where those items are. There's nothing there. The one on the island is an herb. It's not worth stopping for. But here I'm just like, one enemy, please. I was just like, yes, one enemy. And then I'm hoping, no fireball, and it didn't do a fireball. And then it fireballed. So right here, basically because of that encounter, I was just like, I'm not going to care too much about keeping the gopher alive. More often than not on CaptDead, I let the worm, or whatever my third monster is, just die, so that I can be more efficient with my healing items on Squiz and Dino. Because that third monster slot is always going to be filled with something that just has no health. So, I'm just like, here, have this herb. That's all you're getting. We'll see how long you last. Oh, man. I love coffee. So we pop over here, pick up this potion. That's going to be part of an exchange sequence that we do with Mom back in Great Log to get some money. Basically, she gives you money to go run some errands and buy stuff, but she gives you more money than the things are worth. And then you just keep the leftovers. But the way we have this routed, we actually go back with the Love Water Potion and Rib that she's going to ask for on the first few. And we're going to get a total of like 2,400 gold. Just for talking to her for a few seconds. Alright, so here I'm feeling good. Because it's like, alright, we got the Friend Staff. Friend Staff makes this fight way faster. So I'm going to use the Friend Staff on Squiz. And it did not break. So I still have a Friend Staff. Now, I thought about using it on Bino here. And then these bangs went, and I was just like, okay, well, I guess I'll play defensive and I'll save that for the first encounter in ice. Turn that fan off. It was warm in here when I started, but now it's cold. Yeah, and so here, you basically just get comfortable with the damage lines, so I don't always heal. I just try to keep everybody above like 25, 30-ish. And you don't want to use all of your love waters in this fight, because remember, we want to save one of those to give to Mom during the errands. You can buy some in the town right after this, but yeah, it's a time loss because you have to step off the town, go back into it, go to the shop, do the shop sequence, walk out of town. So if you don't have to do that, you don't want to. The twin hits buy attacks are so good. Squiz just casually doing 50 damage per turn, and then we get the crit. Love it. That was a really fast CaptDead because of that Friend Staff. But after CaptDead is the Dark Eye recruit. We need a female Dark Eye. Unfortunately, the gender of a monster is associated with where it is in the position. Like, each formation has specific male or female monsters in the same spot every single time. So if you get a solo Dark Eye, it's a female. If you get the wand and then Dark Eye, that's a female. If you get Dark Eye, Wand, Dark Eye, the left one is female, the right one is male. So you just always make sure that the female Dark Eye dies last, and throw a rib at it, and it will almost always join. It maxes out its recruit chance with one rib. And the reason we need it to be female is because that's going to breed with Bino, our Beaverin, and Bino is always male, so we have to get that female Dark Eye here. Fortunately, you cannot get an egg out of 2 male monsters. And I think my previous PB had... I think I lost a couple of minutes on the Dark Eye recruit. So we've got a bookmark that we picked up in the revisit to Oasis, and that lets you save once anywhere on the world map, or anywhere in the game that you want to. So normally you have to save either in the shrine or in a town if you're going to. But we specifically grabbed that bookmark and hold on to it for this cave, so that we can save before using a rib on a Dark Eye. But if it doesn't join, or if we just get a bad encounter, it's going to take too long to either get away from, fight, or recover from, then you can just reset and load. It takes about 20 seconds to reload the game. A much longer reset than Monsters 1. Which is kind of weird. Like Monsters 1, you can mash through the loading screens. Can't do it in 2 though. We actually have to sit through them. Alright, so there goes the repellent that we used on the ship. Now we can start getting random encounters. And use that bookmark here. Do not accidentally use the repellent there, that would be bad. Because we need this encounter. Right. And now before we get on these stairs, we're just waiting for female Dark Eye. And that is not a female Dark Eye. Like, there are a few encounters that you can get here that are like, you know, 3 enemies where none of them are Dark Eyes. And those ones, you basically run and reset if you don't get it. Okay, so in this one, the Dark Eye on the left is female. So I want to make sure that that one dies last, so that's what our recruit chances rolled against. And then Squiz very enthusiastically crits the male. And then very enthusiastically crits the evil one. And out goes the rib. Alright, so our accuracy's way down. But who cares, because Squiz enthusiastically crits the Dark Eye. Squiz was like, let's go! This is a PB, son! Now that we've got that and we don't want any more encounters here, we hit that repellent and finish out the cave. While I'm doing that menu, I also check to make sure that I've got at least 51 HP on one of my monsters. Because we're going to be walking on 10 lava tiles later. And each step takes 5 damage. We don't have any fights left here, it's just getting to the end of the cave. So as long as I have 51 HP on somebody, then you know, we're good to go. If all my monsters are under 51, then I'll, you know, throw an herb about. That whirl, dude. It's a full heal for the entire party. And then that war ring is an equipable item that gives the monster that it's equipped on plus 1 HP growth per level. So that's going to go on our bear just to make him more... or less squishy. The bear gets a lot of health over the course of this run, however his defense power is atrociously bad. There. Yeah, and so right here with the quick Dark Eye, the quick Army Ant and Gopher, the quick CaptDead, I'm just like, okay, we're back in this. Get it with another gold split. And now I'm only 31 seconds behind PB. So at this point, my confidence was like 50%. And I was like, I can't believe I'm climbing back into this game. But here we are. And I'm still holding on to a friend staff. It's an important detail. So my plan is to use that friend staff on the first encounter of ice, because right here we're gonna do some story progression to get. We're gonna hand this gopher to Dad. We're gonna pick up the ant here from our sister and give him to a merchant, and that's gonna give us. Yeah, I was confused there because I was like, wait a minute, I already have my gopher. I don't want to replace the gopher. So a little bit of sloppy menuing there, but It's about the same amount of time you would normally have if you had to pick up both the ant and the gopher, so it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, so drop off the gopher with Dad. It's going to give us a tiny medal, which we don't want, and we can't sell, so I just have to delete it when I go into the menu next time. Then we talk to Mom, drop off the items I was talking about earlier. Get our money from her for our next shopping trip. We're gonna go drop off the ant with the merchant, and he's gonna give us the key to ice. And then after that we go do some breeding. We're going to breed our worm with an NPC's manip'd, which is going to give it access to the twin hit spell, among other things. And then we're also going to breed Beano with our Dark Eye that we just recruited, and that's going to give us our Grizzly. Now, the reason I was happy to have the friend staff at this point is when we go into Ice, which is not a low-level area, we have Squiz at like level 13, and then 2 level 1 monsters that are absolute garbage, and they can't take a hit, they can't deal any damage. And so, like, you want that first fight to go super fast, and Squiz is your only source of damage. And while it seemed like he was doing a lot of damage to us when we were fighting him, he's not that great on his own. His damage output is pretty low. So, being able to friend staff him on the first encounter of Ice, like, saves, you know, probably close to a minute, depending on what encounter you get. Like, if you get a triple enemy encounter, and you don't have a friend staff for Squiz, like, you could be there for a long time, you could run out of healing even before the things die. So, the friend staff there is huge. And the nice thing about the breeding with NPCs like that is it doesn't matter what gender your monster is, theirs will always be the opposite. So it's only when you're breeding monsters that you own that you have to make sure that you've got opposing genders. Which is why the Dark Eye is so important, because we're gonna have male beaver in here, always male, every single time. Alright, so I named my worm / manip'd A, and my bear B. Sorry, puberty finally hitting. Then I named my bear B every time. I used to just do the random names, but I would get so confused when I was trying to reorder my party. I was just like, I'm not sure. So A for manip'd, B for bear. It's easy to remember, and they're, you know, right there at the beginning of the alphabet, so it doesn't take long. It's like you're doing this, and you end up with like 7 and Homie. It's like, well, which one's which? Unless you're like really good at just storing short-term memory like that, then it can get quite confusing if you don't have a consistent system there. Right. And we enter Ice under 49 minutes. Feels good. Generally where I want to be. What I look for in a good first half-ish of the run is dancing for the queen at around 1 hour. If I'm at Weston at 1 hour, I feel good, basically. So here, I see this, and I'm just like, could this really be another friend staff? So once again, I'm sitting on 2 friend staffs. So I'm guaranteed to be able to use one on the first encounter of Ice, which is huge, because after that first encounter, the worm and grizzly can fend for themselves quite well. And then I'm also going to have one that I can use on either Bombcrag or Silver Devil, or both if it doesn't break. I opted to go ahead and just use it on Bombcrag, because the 2 fights after Silver Devil don't really matter. They're pretty quick anyway. And after that, you've got twin hits. Actually, no, you've got twin hits for Goat Hornet anyway. So yeah, I was just like, it's okay if they break here, because I'm not going to have a chance to use them. You can sell them later on. for a good chunk of cash, but it's not that big of a deal. I would I would much rather save the time from having some quick fights here. Hey Holmes, how's it going? I do need more ribs. I haven't had good ribs in a long time. I haven't even had bad ribs in a long time. I just haven't had ribs in a long time. I saw a video where somebody was making ribs a while back, and I was just like, I want ribs. Alright, so here's our first ice encounter, and this is a horrible encounter to get if you don't have the friend staff. Earlier, when I went to do my menuing, I made sure to set A and B to defensive, because if you go into your tactics in combat, as soon as you assign the tactic to your third party member, it just ends. It begins the round of combat. So you can't actually control your third monster if you want to use an item. So I made sure that he was on defensive prior to this fight, so that I could use the friend staff right away. If I don't have a friend staff, then on the first fight I just go plan, charge, defend, defend. And because of that friend staff, that fight did not take me 20 minutes. And we just get a whole bunch of levels here. And at this point, our worm A is going to have decent defense power. His HP and attack power is still going to be pretty meh. But our grizzly BB here, I accidentally hit. I threw in 2 Bs. I normally just do B, but I double tapped A there. But his attack power is going to start spiking really fast. Right there, you got 11 attack power right there, 13. I think he gets 20 right there, yeah. So at this point, we're done with Squiz for a while. We need to keep him alive for Dancing for the Queen, but after that, we basically want Squiz dead whenever possible, because we don't want him siphoning experience away. I picked up a free love water. Fantastic. Not like Squiz. Yeah, this is, this Squiz... Actually, just my Squizzes in general have not wanted to die. Like, I have trouble killing them off recently. Mostly because enemies just keep attacking my worm in there. Even with Squiz in slot 1. So my goal for this cave is to have my bear at level 10 before going to Bombcrag. It's not, like, too important. Like, there's not, like, a skill or anything there, but... it's enough attack power that it makes the fight really easy. He also learns Ice Bolt, which sucks. Where did Kev get a coconut gun? And so at this point, I'm just like, I want Squiz to die. I don't want Squiz stealing experience from the 2 monsters that are going to be important to the rest of the run. Poor Squiz. Yeah, so I go ahead and use one of the friend staffs, or the second friend staff here, and it breaks. And then my only goal here is keep A and B alive. I want Squiz dead before this fight is over. It's actually harder to do with the friend staff because the fight is shortened so much. And unfortunately, Squiz ends up surviving this fight. But not the end of the world. It just means I gotta get him... he's gonna die on Silver Devil, and I'm gonna have to take an extra fight or 2 before going to the Puppeter fight, so that my worm gets to level 17 and learns twin hits. In an average run where Squiz dies at all the proper places, you get enough bonus experience on the worm that you usually learn twin hits off of the Silver Devil, depending on what your initial encounters were in Ice, and how many fights you took in the cave. But my encounter rates have been pretty low so far. So I'm a little bit behind on experience from that, and then I'm further behind on experience because Squiz didn't die. But you're gonna take a couple of fights before Puppeter anyway, so it's not a huge problem. Oh, it's guaranteed, thank God. This isn't DQ3. We've got a giant worm looking out its window, knowing it's gonna learn by kill. And so right here, if I still had a friend staff, I could speed up the silver devil fight a little bit. But I don't have it. But this is really, like, I've used this friend staff on every boss fight except for Beavern and First Lamp on this run. Honestly, that's where a lot of my time saves came from. Just killing things super fast. So, standard strategy that you're gonna see here. I try to go to twin hits there, and it's like, you don't have twin hits for this fight. So I was sitting there, I'm looking for twin hits, I'm like, oh, right, we're not there yet. And this trolley devil just keeps putting my bear to sleep here. Yeah, DQ3 is the brutal one. You lose runs to not learning by kill. Both asleep. And right now, A's defense is pretty low, but... or his HP is pretty low, but his defense is high enough that I didn't feel the need to heal there. There we go. So our worm is level 16 now, and needs to be level 17 to learn twin hits. But that's not a surprise, because my Squiz vacuum sucked up too much experience. But we still have overworld movement between here and the puppeter fight, which is the first fight where we always use twin hits. So it's not really a concern. I was just like, I'm gonna get it, we're fine. And I missed another split. You know how hard it is to split when you're not playing? It's incredible. But yeah, at this point we're about 2 minutes ahead. Oh yeah, Crystal learning either 14 or 15? Yeah. Yeah, there was... I don't remember what it was. There was one time I didn't have something in DQ3. I think it was I didn't have stops. No, it wasn't stops. It was... Oh yeah, I didn't learn heal more on my Sage at 14. And I didn't notice it until the Baramos fight. I was like, wait a second, where's my heal more? Not a good time to realize you don't have heal more. Alright, so here I'm just like, great, single enemy. Is it enough experience, though? Or is no, it was not enough experience. Right there, I was thinking about menuing to reorder and put Squiz in the front. I don't know why I chose not to, because you're not going to get another encounter that fast. You do need everybody alive for this dance sequence. But, yeah, I don't know why I didn't reorder it. I decided to do it right here instead. I was like, why didn't I do it? Let's just do it now. Yeah, so keep in mind, during the run, my splits died at 15 minutes and 15 seconds. So I still have no idea where I am at on time here, which I think worked out in my favor, because I was like, just keep going, just go, go, go. We'll fix it in post. It was like no pressure. It was like I could be 2 minutes ahead, I could be 5 minutes behind. You know, I knew it wasn't likely that I was behind at this point, because because I had the 3 friend staves and got 4 uses total. So it's like there's no way I kept losing time. So I'm just like, I think this is a pretty good run. Let's keep pushing. Yeah, and here, going along the river, there's a little bit of time on the animation to get onto it, but there's definitely fewer steps. Or it's more straight lines, which makes me feel better. I think the water had lower depletion than the ground tiles in ice. I know every ground tile has more, or has the same depletion in ice. I don't remember if water had less, but it feels like it does. But it might just be like a flat one through all of ice. But it also saves a few steps because you don't have to go up and around. You just, you know, go in more of a straight line. And here I'm like, just please kill Squiz. Please kill Squiz. Didn't kill Squiz. But we got enough experience to get to level 17 and there's twin hits. But at this point it's like, okay, as long as Squiz isn't stealing boss experience anymore, we'll be fine. Quick top off there for Puppeter. I do a heal there specifically because about half of the time you get back to the castle without an encounter, so it's not really a big deal. And you also want to make sure that you have an open inventory slot. So always using one there. It doesn't matter if you've picked up items or not along the way. If you always use a heal before going there, you have room for the Unisoul. I think this, yeah, Squiz dies in this fight, I think. Or if he dies here, Puppeter. I'm pretty sure he dies right here. Yeah. So right there I was like, thanks a lot, Fish Rider. You're my best friend. And he's like, what? Best friend? I've always wanted a best friend. Can I join you? And I'm like, no. And there, the game auto-reorders your party, so that dead party members go to the back after combat. And so I muscle memory auto-piloted to using the Love Water on slot 3, because that's where the bear has been. And ended up trying to heal a coffin. Fortunately, that doesn't actually use the item in this game. Alright, so here you're going to see the basic strategy that the rest of the bosses in the game are going to have. Throw twin hits on the bear, and then swing. And it just takes a couple of rounds to kill Puppeter as long as he doesn't confuse you. No confusion on the bear, no problem. Easy peasy fight. And so, after this, is the part where I tend to lose the most time on ice. We have a lot of walking to do on the overworld, and depending on how unlucky you get, you might just get a ton of encounters. And I've had times where the run just dies here because I run out of healing, and somebody dies. And it's just like, okay, I'm not far enough ahead where I can afford to go revive and still be in it. So... this segment is pure time loss, most runs. And it all just comes down to how many fights you get. If you aggressively run, then you can mitigate some of that, but the run chances in this game aren't good. So a couple of run fails costs you a lot of time, because not only does it take longer to end the fight, it also takes time to recover from that and uses your healing items. So it's usually safer and more efficient to just kill enemies, unless it's like a really bad encounter. Like, some triple enemy encounters are better to run. I mean, sorry, yeah, some triple enemies are better to run, yeah. But like single enemies, it's always better to fight. Unless you get a preemptive attack, which is a automatic 100% run success on turn 1. But like, if it had been 3 of those birds, I would have still had to fight it because they have twin hits. And they also have Bug Smash, which does extra damage to our worm. And this encounter, basically anything with the birds, it's not safe to run from. Because if they cast twin hits on either the moth or the tree, or even themselves, they can just, like, they can potentially one-shot you there. So, even though it's slow, I take the fight. not willing to risk it. We get our sleeper, and all things considered, that was a really quick mountain. 2 encounters, and one of them was a single enemy. It's not bad. You'll notice that my worm is still sitting at very low health. It's generally better to heal in combat. It's risky, because if you get an ambush while you have a character that you were going to just wait until the next fight to heal, you can end up losing them there. Didn't get a fight, so I go ahead and do it before this shot. But in combat, using items always goes first, unless a monster uses a high priority attack. Like, this is a bait title for sure? Sure is. How's it going, Cowie? You can take the question mark out of the world record. The question is, how much of a world record is this? Yeah, like, as I was saying with the, if you have a monster that uses a high priority move, like the, I can't think of what it's called. Like, in Pokemon it would be Quick Attack. Like, those will still outspeed items, but most enemies don't have that. Squall Hit, there you go. Thanks, Final Fantasy VIII. Yeah, PM knows. PM has my estimate. I had to tell somebody. And who do you talk to at 1 o'clock in the morning, if not PM? If he's gonna kev me, I'm gonna throw everything at him. Exactly. Always talk to the person that spams kev. Yeah, so there, I decided to use a world do. I could have used Love Waters, but I was just like, I want to go quick. I've got, you know, I've got enough money, generally speaking. In the end, I'll just prioritize making sure I buy one more at least when we get to Sky. But I didn't want to sit there doing multiple menus to use Love Waters. I still have no idea what my time is at this point. So I'm just like, just do the fast thing. It was kind of at a spot where it was just like, I could be like right on pace with, you know, with my PB and not even know it. So it's like, just do the fast thing, and if I die, I get to go to bed. So, still, technically may not be correct to use the world do there, but who cares? So, pretty good ice overall. Friend staff on the first encounter made getting those initial levels really quick. Squiz taking forever to die was problematic, but didn't cause too much trouble. And then just not too many encounters on the second half of ice either. I have a tendency to lose like 2 minutes to ice just because of encounter rates, but overall I had really low encounter rates throughout all of ice, so it was wonderful. Got 109 ice out, minute 40 ahead of PB. But again, I don't know this. My splits still say 15 minutes and 15 seconds during the run. Alright, so back in Great Log. As always, we just have a few things to do to progress the story. Always 15. So right there, I actually managed to hit A before he moved, and it opened up. I'm sitting there spamming A because, you know, you want to say yes to him, and I actually opened up my menu before he moved. So there we get the Sky Key. It gets us into our next area. And this pot has a Drac Scale, which we're going to throw in our armor peed for more defense. Make him tankier. And we're going to go into the cafe to breed our giant worm with his spiky boy. That's going to give us our armor peed finally. Lots of defense power, and gets to learn all of the spells that it learned as a worm, which includes Twin Hits. It also is going to eventually have Explodette and Thordane, which come in handy on the last two fights. Well, they can come in handy if you don't get stop spelled. Which does happen more often than I'd like. This guy's got a wild ape. We breed it with our bear, just to get a better bear. And so, once again, we're going to be going into an area with dangerous enemies and 2 level 1 monsters. The difference here is these level 1 monsters are going to be way better than the level 1 monsters that we went into Ice with. We're here to pick up the War Ring, because any items that are equipped on a monster that you breed end up going to the vault here. So we're picking that up to put it back on bear number 2. But yeah, since we're further down the breeding path on these monsters, they're more powerful than the ice level ones, so they can actually help out right away. And they're going to start with around 90 HP, whereas the other ones had 40-ish. And then the attack power on the bear is actually pretty good already to start. It's our armor bead. Quick menu here, War Ring on the bear, Drac Scale on the armor bead. And off we go to Sky. Now Sky is an extremely variable front half, and then an extremely stable back half. The reason the front half is so unstable is we buy repellents about halfway through Sky. So we're getting overworld encounters up until that point. Now right here we want one, and I actually get an early one here. And it's a single enemy, which is exactly what you want to see. The single Fang Slime or the single Florida Man are just wonderful fights to get right out of the gate here. No pun intended. And that just gets you your first few levels. Like, even that, just one enemy, is going to get our armor peed straight to level 10. That's how important that first fight is. I hope you like levels. We're gonna hear this jingle for a bit. I think the bear gets up to level 8 off of this. And I'm just like, please don't give me another encounter. The scary thing about the early encounter like that is the chance of getting a second one, which isn't necessarily bad, but I don't need it. Experience-wise, our only goal with random encounters is getting our armor peed to level 15, because that's where he's going to learn Evil Slash, and we need Evil Slash to kill the metabble boss quickly. It's one of the crit-only abilities where you either crit or you miss. And crits ignoring defense means metabble goes down in 1 hit instead of like 20. I don't know exactly how much HP he has. I think it's think it's in the teens, I'm pretty sure. It's not a lot, but you're either doing 1 damage or missing with regular attacks. Yeah, and there was like, I want Squiz dead, but once again, the immortal Squiz just refuses to die. So next fight is going to give us Evil Slash. And in an ideal world, we'll have 1 more encounter before we get to the repellents. I've only had 1 run where I actually got 0 encounters after learning Evil Slash. Grab our Cleric Ring, we're going to be selling that for 1600 gold. And that's going to fund our repellents, exit bells, and some healing items. And over here we're going to pick up the change staff. So, in the Terra version of this game, you actually get to skip a bit of RNG, because going into the metabble cave requires you to be small. And Terra is small enough to just go into it on her own. Kobe has to use the change staff in the nearby town and become a Skullroo in order to go through. And there's 3 monsters on that screen that you can turn into. So it's basically a 1 in 3. Hey John Irony, how's it going? This run is actually over. I'm retiming a run that I did offline last night because my splits died at 15 minutes. So this is the recording. I get bad meat. I was hoping for a sirloin that I could sell. But bad meat, I was just like, man, what a waste. So I actually just throw it in this fight. You can poison enemies with it. I'm just like, yeah, why not? Let's get it out of my inventory. I don't want it there. Beautiful time-saving crit, but Squiz is still alive. Squiz is still just eating experience here. It doesn't matter too much, because we've got Evil Slash on our armor peed right now, and that's all we need. But it still wastes time just watching his level up text. So you don't want him leveling up at all. And you do still want as much experience going on to armor peeding Grizzly as you can get, because ideally you want to have enough experience to learn Explode at before the bridge fight in Limbo. And this ambush actually turned out to be good. Because they actually take out Squiz for me. And then it turned into a pretty quick fight. Get that Squall hit there. So for a 3-enemy ambush, that's actually really fast. Plus we get some of the experience that that Squiz stole. So there we've got our twin hits back. I'm not going to use that for a bit because Metabble just gets the Evil Slash. But this is a pretty good time getting to this town. We're going to do a little bit of shopping. Sell our Cleric Ring. Get repels, get exit bells. I think I also grab a potion here. And then some world dues. I had some weird decision paralysis here. So I was like, I know I want at least 1 world due. And then I was like, okay, I'll get 2 more world dues. And it's like, well, I have room for 1 more item. Let's go get the love water. So that shop was really messy. Like there was just a lot of terrible decision making there. But it's not that big of a deal. It's a couple of seconds. And at this point, we're done with random encounters. 480 gold there. The repellents are going to keep us from getting random encounters for the rest of the game, so we basically just have forced encounters and bosses. And that's why I say the second half of Sky is a lot more stable. There, my inventory was full, and I was just like, I'm not gonna go back for it, it's just a rib. If it had been a sirloin, I probably would have gone back to pick it up after dropping the log twig. There we get the first try Skull Roo, which is great. My previous PB was somewhere around, it was in the 5 to 7 range on attempts there. Which, you know, it's just a few seconds each, but it's still frustrating when you start hitting everything but the Skull Roo over and over. I decided to go back for the gold because I saw it late. It was only 130. It was not worth it. Like, registered after I was past it, and I was like, man, what if that's like 900 gold? We're talking about, you know, an extra love water and potion for the final boss. So, took a chance, went out of the way to get it. Didn't really pay off at all. Yeah, so on my previous PB, the metabble took, it was 6 or 7 attempts before I actually hit it with Evil Slash. So I'm just like, come on, just get first try Evil Slash. That's all I want. It's a free time save. It was 6? Okay. It's always 6, yeah. Certainly feels like it. So I'm like, just please don't bleed time here. And we get the first try hit. So that's a first try Change Staff, first try Evil Slash. So, 2 RNG time soaks that just went perfectly. Not gonna forget to split this time. So this is one reason why I didn't want to watch this run before restreaming it here. Because I have no idea where I was at time-wise on any of my splits. So I've been excited to see where I actually made up time throughout the run. Oh yeah, I got my thumb on the button. There we go. Gold split on metabble. 2.5 minutes ahead right now. But again, during the run, I don't know that. My timer still says 15 minutes. But I'm just like, everything has felt so good on this run. I was like, just keep pushing. You know, try to save time where we can. Yeah, it's still, I'm at 15 minutes and 15 seconds at this point in the game. It's incredible pacing. Roll record is 15:15. Yeah. My split said 15 minutes and 15 seconds when the credits ended, so I guess that's world record. Yeah. This is always the most important part of the run, or most exciting part of the run. The only reason that I consider playing the PlayStation version. Sitting through this animation every single time is just like... It's a little bit frustrating on one hand, but it's also kind of relieving on the other, because it's kind of a built-in break for your hands. Because most of the run, you're D-pad mashing non-stop, and here you can just, you know, flex your hands for a bit. Shake out the stiffness. It's actually, all things considered, a pretty well-timed break in the run. It's just unfortunate that it takes so long to get through it. I think if this had the Dragon Quest II tower music instead, it would actually be one of my favorite parts of the run. Because it's a chill break with good music would be great. But this music is kind of eh. This is probably the weakest track in the game, in my opinion. And you get stuck listening to it for a few minutes while doing mind-numbing ice puzzles. And when I say it's the weakest track in the game, it's still not awful. But there are better ones. It could certainly be better. This part's pretty bad. And so while I'm going through this puzzle, like, I was sitting there reviewing what I was going to do over the upcoming shop sequence. Because basically we get one more shop before the end game rush, where we're going to... You get world dues, you can get an extra world leaf if you've got enough money for it. You want to have at least one going into the end, just to be safe. You want to grab a potion for recovering MP. So, basically all I'm thinking while I'm going through here. That and, God, I want this to be over. Last 2 clouds here. Then we can finally move on to entertaining things. Heaven armor. And there I didn't turn left before hitting A, so I checked the chest again. And our repellent is still burning here, so there's still no random encounters. And right there, that elf water is huge, because that sells for a lot of money. As soon as I picked that up, I was like, okay, I should have enough healing for the end game. Because, like, I was thinking about, like, how much money I had left from the shop, what I've picked up so far. And then as soon as I pick up that elf water, I'm just like, ah, we're good. I don't have to plan anymore. I'm just going to sell that when we get to the shop and everything's going to be gravy. This room doesn't exist in my brain. There's a couple rooms in Sky that just don't exist in my brain. I always go up after those stairs. I've bonked that wall more times than you can imagine. The other spot that doesn't really exist is the portal shrine right before Mudo's castle. During yesterday's stream, I re-entered the portal on accident, so I had to sit through the transition 3 times total. I think I actually screwed up the movement here a little bit. I gotta go. Yeah, I missed my A press on up there. I don't know why I opened the menu there. I think I was... Oh, I was double checking Bear's HP. That's what it was. Like, there are some times where I'll open my menu with a plan, and then I'll forget what the plan is, and then just close the menu and keep walking. My attention span is, like, bottom tier. So there are times I'll forget what I'm doing while I'm doing it. Yeah, so I've picked up so many extra love waters over the course of this run that I was able to top both of them off with love waters, and I still have all of my world dues. Plus the elf water to sell. So, Night Rich here, basically you're just hoping he doesn't successfully summon Diago early and then cause problems. Right there, the bear outsped Armorpeed, unfortunately. And so that first buy attack did not get twin hits. And there's Diago. I'm just like, alright, just swing. So I've seen a couple of different ways that people do this fight. I like to also twin hits the Armorpeed that he can contribute. He actually, you know, does 100 plus damage here. That's not bad. Here I use the World Dew. I didn't want to, but it's better than having somebody die right here. And the good news is that means that everybody's topped off for Mudo already. So it worked out. And that extra warp staff in my inventory, I need to rework how I do the ice shop, because I buy 5 warp staves in there, but I have a tendency not to use one of them because I like to get my encounter like right after the spring instead of doing a reset to wipe out repellent. Yeah, so here, excited about the extra world leaf. I'm like, alright, let's get 2. And then just a whole bunch of love waters. I've already got some dews. I've got a leaf. Actually, I think I have 2 leaves right now. I've got the potion and plenty of love waters for spot healing. I feel like I was saying something and interrupted my train of thought. Who knows? If you were invested in what I was saying, I apologize because that thought process is gone. I was walking into town while I was talking. Oh yeah, the warp staff. Yeah, I like to take that fight after the... Like, instead of saving and resetting and taking 20 seconds to reload the game in ice, I generally just, instead of warp staffing out of the lake shrine, I just walk south from there to get an encounter. So I could probably just cut that down and start buying only 4 warp staves. Room for 1 more love water. Alright, so this chest has our steel thing. That's gonna go on the bear and boost his attack power by 50. Nice and juicy. And then it's time for Mudo. So the primary strategy on Mudo is Twin hits the bear and then quad attack for hitting him 4 times per turn. He does use D-Magic, which removes twin hits, unfortunately. And so, a really fast fight here just means he's not using D-Magic very often. That's really all there is to it. But I've got a lot of World Dews right now, so I'm not concerned about damage. Wow's gonna be completely aggressive, and if something starts going sideways, I can just throw a World Dew without too much concern. But there's D-Magic, which means I need to recast Twin Hits, but the timing of it's bad because that quad hits, uses its MP, and then does basically no damage. But I'm just like, alright, well he's pretty close here, we'll just finish him off with regular attacks. So, you can use the potion here to boost him up, but... This is like, it's close enough that if I just have A helping contribute damage, it's probably fine. So that fight could have been a bit faster, if I had used the potion. Because then I could have gotten more quad hits out of the bear, but, you know. It was still a pretty good Mudo fight. Nothing really went wrong there. Yeah, and right here, in the run, this is where, like, the adrenaline started pumping. Because I was just like, okay, it all comes down to Limbo. Again. And I'm like, I don't know where my time is. So I was like, all I knew is I was most likely ahead of PB. And it's just like, I was like, just get the PB. So I actually take a safety save in Limbo, just in case, because I was like, I think I'm on world record pace, but I know I'm on PB pace. And it was one of those ones where it's like, if I don't world record, I at least want to PB. So I took the 5 seconds to do a safety save. Fan of this running without a timer thing? It's very relaxing, relatively speaking. Like, if I saw my time right here, and I was just like, I'm 2 minutes and 23 seconds ahead of my PB, I was just like, we're in the territory where I'm reaching my goal time for this game of 1:48. I'd be freaking out. You know? But, like, not knowing, it's just like, just execute. Just see what happens. Yeah, so I save right here, so that if the first turn of the bridge fight goes poorly, I can just reset and go again without losing too much time. It's all down to this. So, my previous shot at a sub 150 died on this fight because... Well, it didn't die on this fight, I completed the run. But the 150 died. Or the sub 150 died, because on turn 1, Centasaur outsped me and used stop spell, so I didn't get twin hits. Or explode it. Time yourself to rub yourself with this thing. Well, my goal was to time this one live. I just happened to keep going after my splits died. There we go, so we've got our twin hits. And here, I take Cowie's advice, and I'm actually going for quad hits instead of rain slash. It's something I've been going back and forth on between rain slash and quad hits. And also remember to switch my armor P to charge here. Right here, when the bear died, I was a little bit upset, but like whatever. I got 2 leaves. Everything's fine here. We just gotta recast twin hits. I'm like, good. No stop spell. And then stop spell. So I don't get my twin hits back. So right here, I was mad. I was like, man, if I lose this run because I couldn't get twin hits back up, that's just one hell of a way to go. Oh yeah, say whatever you want, this run's over. It's world record, the question is how much is it world record by? There ain't no jinx in here, this is no hands. Yeah, so right here I'm just like just go. And fortunately that late world do meant I didn't have to menu to healing items during this. All I need to do is use the potion on the bear for dark and we're all set up. I've still got a world tree leaf left, I've got like 3 world dews, I've got some love waters, I've got my sky bells. Really confident that this fight's gonna go well at this point. Georgia runs with the camcorder and mail the tape as proof to... No, that's the past. We're beyond that now. And so right here, my confidence is at like 110%. I'm just like I have so much healing. Like, even if he's a trolley slow dark, I should beat him. Giga Slash on A. Always misses. A goes first, gets the twin hits up. And here it's basically just get as many quad hits off with twin hits as possible while Armor Feet's casting Thordane. The early D magic, not too bad. I got a couple of quad hits off already. Got the outspeed from Grizzly here, so no buffed damage. Panic all misses. Fantastic. Wasted turn from the boss. Back to Thordane and quad hits. Physical on A. Wonderful. I throw the love water there, just to be safe. Didn't really need it. Giga Slash on Bear. Still got okay HP, I'm like, just go. And Dark is dead. At 139. Wow. That's almost as well as Dark can go. Like, the only way that goes better is if he doesn't D-magic at all. and instead, like, tries to Giga Slash Armorpede. Alright. 140 Limbo out. So, yeah. We are looking at a 148-ish. Which is funny, because 148 was my target time. And after this run and how poorly the beginning went, I'm sitting there thinking, I think my goal needs to be like 147, 146. Because I started this run, my first split is plus 2 minutes. And then I just found a whole bunch of friend stabs and everything else just kind of fell into place. And so from here it's just waiting for the credits to end. There's a little bit of mashing, a little bit of walking, but the run's effectively over at this point. So let's see what the exact ending time is here, but confirmed world record. I think at this point I was curled up on the floor a little bit, like trying to catch my breath. Like my heart's just like going I'm just holding my controller on the floor, just like curled up, just mashing, holding down so I can start walking after we get through the dialogue in the throne room. Yeah, this is a really fun run. I still can't believe that I took the start that I did and actually turned it into something. Because that was so bad. Like, I ran around outside before Beavern for 2 minutes trying to recruit a spotslime, just so that I could progress the story. And now we just get to sit back and enjoy music. Always continue runs? Yeah, I mean, sometimes you'll get surprised, especially in, like, runs that have potential RNG variance. Like, if I were just doing, like, if this run had been at the beginning of a stream that I was going to do PB attempts on, I would have reset this run, absolutely. The only reason I continued this run was because I just wanted to end the day on a completed run. I didn't want to end the day with the bridge fight, you know, ruining my run and leaving a sour taste in my mouth. Hey, SK. Oh, hey, Cap, you made it. Didn't see you there. Are you not drunk? I love this music. I think this is my favorite credits music in Dragon Quest. It feels so good. Yeah, so this is a mid 148. The standing world record until this is submitted is 149.50 something, 53 I think. So this is over a minute improvement on that, and there's still look at that Oasis out. There's still 2.5 minutes sitting there to not getting bad RNG. 149.47. There you go. Hey, Hactical's awake. Look at that limbo out. Glad you could make it, Hactical. Pop. Thanks for the GG. Yeah, this feels really good to get this run out of the way. I'm definitely not done running it. Like Hack and I have been talking about this, every PV has a part that just feels absolutely terrible. And in this case, it's the 24-minute Oasis out. It's horrific. There's just so much time to save in this run still. So. Hi. How are you guys doing? Yeah, getting stream bombed.
No.
Yeah, so it's... Yeah, really, the only thing that went wrong on this whole run, like, that was, like, wrong, was having the CaptDead die on the worm fight and having to farm the spot slime. And then that just took 2.5 minutes, just running in circles. It was really bad. But once I found the friend staff on the revisit, I was like, alright, we're good here. So, yeah, once I found that friend staff, I was like, okay, I have 2 friend staffs if I don't fail the manip. And then once I found the 3rd friend staff in ice, I was just like, say GG. Game over at that point, as long as I don't make any stupid mistakes. And then, first try change staff, first try metabble. Super cooperative Night Rich, cooperative Mudo. Not cooperative bridge fight in Limbo. Like, I was worried when my bear died in on that fight. I was like, oh god, here we go. And then the stop spell came out before I could twin hits him again. And I was just like, really, game? Is this how we're gonna do this? But still pulled it off. It could have gone much worse, obviously. And that dark just... well, that's what you want to see on dark. You can't ask for a better dark than what I got there. Like, it's the kind of dark you don't practice for, but you always hope for. You always want to practice the darks that are going to demagic you 20 times and Giga Slash your bear 5 times and confuse you and try to kill your run, but sometimes he just does nothing. Sometimes he does nothing. And I definitely, after this run, going back to using quad hits instead of rain slash on the bridge fight does feel better. I'm probably going to just do that exclusively at this point. Because if you happen to have them all hit the bird, that's just one enemy less right off the bat. Shorter rounds, less damage coming out. But yeah, really good run. Really fun run. I still can't believe it was as fast as it was. One more little sequence here. We get our official ending time. It's gonna be about 33. Oh yeah, same. 32 actually. 148.32 is our new world record for Dragon Warrior Monsters 2. And I did it on Kobe.